He's a miracle working God. He's a miracle working God. This testimony is all about God's hands, God's deliverance, God fighting our battles for us. I want you to watch this testimony and be blessed and get one or two understanding of how God has been faithful and been merciful to us in our lives. Please do not forget to drop a comment in the comment section, share your own testimony, like, subscribe, and share. You carry your evidence on the altar of fire in the name of Jesus.
What God cannot do. Okay, I know why you're calm, because you don't know that you're the next in line to come and stand here and give your testimony. What God cannot do. I have come to give all thanks. I've come to return the glory to the God of this fire altar who has seen me, and my family, who has seen us and broken this generational pattern. I joined NSPPD out of curiosity in 2021. A mutual friend usually shared it on her WhatsApp status. And so I got curious. I'm like, every time she's writing what God cannot do. So under a link, what's this link about? I clicked it and I joined. It was a link to YouTube, and it was a fire prayer. Then I was still a Catholic. And this is not our type of prayer. And it was too hot and it was too noisy. I tried to join again the next day, and then a third day. I'm like, I cannot be joining prayer that I'm not joining to pray. Like, I wasn't able to pray along. So I kept quiet. And then I stopped joining. That was in 2021. Fast forward to 2022, I moved to Abuja. And I came here on the instruction from God. And I didn't know that God was ready to set me on a path. He was already setting me on the path to have a proper encounter with this altar. Now, 2022, ending of 2022, I had a dream where I was shot a gun in my head. I just prayed casually about it. 2023, I had another dream. This time around, I think it was around January 2023. And I was shot a gun. Actually, the person was targeting my siblings and I. I'm the first child, first daughter, first of even grandchildren. So I was shielding them. I shielded them and with my body. And so my back was left exposed. And the man shot at me, and I felt it. I was bleeding very badly. I got up, and when I got up, I prayed about it as well. Then, few weeks after then, I had an encounter, and in that encounter, an angel spoke to me and said, I know you're of the Catholic background, and you guys don't believe in this type of prayers, but this is what you need to deal with your family foundational issues. I woke up, and I'm like, what I need. What do I need? And then the word dropped in my heart. What God cannot do does not exist. And I said, what God? I went to YouTube. I searched for it. Because remember, I didn't take note of the name NSPPD, Streams of Joy or whatever, because it was only 3 days I had joined then. So I searched for it. What God cannot do does not exist. And Papa's face and 2 other men's face came out. I'm like, oh, I think this is what it is. And then I joined. From that day, there was no more noise. The prayers were no longer noisy. And then I started joining. Now, down 2023, I started experiencing some certain things. I started having thoughts, like intrusive thoughts that were no longer normal intrusive thoughts. I could have conversation with someone that I know. Not physically, but I will have that conversation with you in my head. A month, 2 months, like the conversation can go on. One part of me is talking, another part is responding. And this happened, it kept on happening. Like, if I get distracted, maybe a call or something, I will finish up with that, and then I'll get back to the intrusive thoughts. These things got so bad that sometimes 1 a.m., 2 a.m., in fact, there was one night that I could not sleep. 3 straight nights, I did not close my eyes. And guess what? I was not tired. I was not fatigued. I was still very agile. I didn't know that all of this was a symptom of something, right? Now, these intrusive thoughts got so bad that even I started having executive dysfunction. I'm no longer able to do the things I'm supposed to do, mentally and all of that. Involuntary leg tapping syndrome became like breathing air to me. Even people around me started noticing, and they started, sometimes we'll go out for something and then they'll be like, Ugo, you're tapping your legs too much. Calm down. I said, I'm calm. I'm not tensed. Why are you angry? I said, I'm not angry. I'm okay. But this kept on happening. At a point, it got to the point where I started hearing voices that said to me, all your family wants, they like you or they are calling you, or why the reason why they come to you is because you're providing the money. They don't really care about you. So why not just leave the estate, cross the road, just as if you want to cross the third road, and then let a car hit you, And all of this kept on happening. Sometimes I would have, a lot of thoughts like that. That actually continued until January 2024. January 2024, I decided, January 2024, I got to the hospital. I went to psychiatric clinic, hospital. And this hospital, when I got there, the doctor was like, after my after my consultations with him, he was like, oh my God, I am very lucky to be here at this time, because this was already progressing to, this was already progressing to something else. And the man now told me on 6th of January 2024 that I have bipolar brain disorder. And I'm like, oh, wow, are you serious? And before you know it, as if Papa heard because now I'm on the altar, right? And permanently. As if Papa heard what they said in the hospital. February, bipolar brain disorder. March, bipolar brain disorder, be reversed. He kept on declaring it, declaring it on the altar. And bipolar, the devil is alive. I am also, let it be reversed. And so that day was around, I think it was March 31st of March 2024. After Papa had made the declaration, my supernatural sister here, Momo, in protocol department, she called me. She said, baby girl, Papa has mentioned this case, so I said, yes. She said, I'm joining faith with you. It's reversed. That was the day. I went off. Okay, yes. I started taking the psychotic medications immediately, right? And before you know it, I decided that day I was going to go off the psychotic medication. If you know well, you will know that psychotic medications, you don't go off it abruptly. When I actually started these drugs, it disturbed me, because that was even when the depression came more. For 3 good months, January, February, March, the only thing I achieved was joining NSPPD every morning for 3 good months. I could not be productive with my life. And this is somebody that I'm quite a very organized and, futuristic, active person. But I could not be productive anymore. Only NSPPD. And that was what God used to keep me in check, to not even take my own life at that point. 31st of March, I went off the drugs. And 1 week later, where are the thoughts? I'm no longer having conversations with people in my head. Okay. As if that was not enough. I could now sit still. I'm now sitting 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm not tapping my legs are not moving involuntarily. What's happening? Some certain things I was meant to do in my business for like a whole year plus that I have not been able to do because of executive dysfunction. 3 hours, I am done with it. I'm like, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. What is this? Now, mind you, let me tell you, this is actually a pattern that has been there from my mother's side, basically. And it is not just only my generation, basically 2 generations prior to me. Now, this thing, when I figured out that everything has started clearing, prior to that time, I didn't want to go out. I only wanted to stay in. Before you know it, life started coming back. I started dreaming again. I started dreaming of life again. As if that was not enough. Well, it's not even over. As God healed that one, I decided to, after 2 months, I said, what am I keeping these drugs for? I trashed it immediately. I trashed it. May, after I trashed the drugs, before you know it, Papa started declaring, He started saying on the altar, call your names in boardrooms. Call your names in boardrooms. I'm like, today, boardrooms. I said, I'm a boardroom woman. Oh yeah, I am going to mention my name there. I called it. He now also mentioned again, he said, kings are going to send for you. The kings will call you. As if, my brethren, literally, the king called me. And this is how it happened. Immediately after the prayers on 1st of July, 2024, after NSPPD prayers, I was supposed to, normal new month message to some of my mentors and all of that. And this one, the Holy Spirit said, call, don't send a text. Call, don't send a text. I went ahead and now obeyed after, shrugging it off and called. Immediately I called. This is a man who keeps tab on me. Like, I'm very accountable to him. All of a sudden, he's asking me, Linda, how are you? Happy New Month. Have you gotten anything? I'm like, did you forget that? How are you asking that question? Is it like something just reminded you about something? I said, call your names in boardrooms. I said, okay. I didn't say much. He said, where are you now? A friend of mine is looking for someone who manages his company, this one, his new company, this, that. I said, sir, I am still in the East. He said, come to so and so place. Apparently, he was in the East. And then I went there. And when I got there, let me say, I went to the East with plans that I'm not coming back to Abuja anymore. Why? Because there was nothing for me. And I told God, if nothing happens in this Abuja, I will just go and not come back. I had packed my things, picked a little bit of it and went with hope to do way billing for the rest. And only for me to get to the East. And God is giving me a top-level managerial job. I'm managing a company. I don't even want to say things, but first of all, part of the things I prayed for, this job is very, very, very flexible, and I can still deal with my business. Secondly, this job, there was no interview. Yes, so no interview, no CV. And the man in question, who I was going to go and meet, the person he was mentioning that is friend of his once, I went there and I met him that day, and he made a statement. He said, when he told me, he mentioned your name, and in our meeting, I'm like, okay, yes, I think you're the best person for this position. Okay, you may think that was them making the decision. No, the decision had already been made. There was already a Linda who was to manage that company. In fact, she already started. And how do I know she already started? It was few months into the job that I now found that, some days into the job, when it was time to get my official email address. And then they are now telling me, there is the Linda who was to manage this place before. We got her email address, and her surname is not attached to it. So can you use it? I said, God. So there was a Linda that was on this position prior. And because the word had gone ahead, the Linda had to make way, literally. They just woke up and decided that, okay, it is now my own Linda. NSPPD Linda. You understand? Yes, a Royce Linda that is befitting for that position. See, I don't know. See, let me tell you. This job, I need to, yes, I'm a business specialist, quite all right. But I need to have at least 7 years experience in this industry. I walked into an industry that I have never even worked as a cleaner in it before. Managing, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how God does it on this altar. But then, it shocked me. It shocked me because when people heard the way it happened, they're like, Jesus, how did it happen? How did you get here? Well, I will not mention the industry, but just know that it's one of the big ones. It's actually one of the big ones. One of the very big ones. Now, see, this is just, there are quite a lot of testimonies, but God has just been, is it the prayer, the prayerfulness? Right now, I call Papa in my own place. I call him the channel for glory. We know that God is the source. You know when he said the glory bundle? I say, yes, glory bundle channel has spoken, right? And then from this altar, I'm receiving things and I'm taking it down to my family. I can't tell you a lot of family breakthroughs that have already been going on. The truth is that there are a lot of testimonies coming on. A lot of them, and time will not avail me. What God cannot do, Pastor Jerry, God bless you. You will continue to be that trust fund for Glory Bundle that God will impute on, and we'll be sharing and distributing that Glory Bundle among to the generation. What God cannot do.
You cannot celebrate all these testimonies sitting down. We are just believing God for a new level, Where are those believing God for a next level? Give the Lord a mighty shout.